Welcome to Home Tiny Lab. My name is Christoph, and today's video tutorial will be about how we can create a virtual machine that uses Docker containers on XCP-ng host and can also be managed with Xen Orchestra. Let's start. So we are going over to the screen view. And here we have the screen view. Okay, let's log in into Xen Orchestra. For people who are interested in how you can configure Xen Orchestra or to install an XCP-ng host, let's first log in. I will put the link at the top right corner and in the description of those video tutorials. So now we are logged in into our XCP-ng. We are already connected to our XCP-ng host, and we are logged in into Xen Orchestra. There is only one virtual machine running. That's one that I also created in one of my video tutorials that I've made. I will also put the link in the description. It's a virtual machine that runs Pop! OS workstation. So it's the only... I've installed that one to show how you can use a workstation on your XCP-ng host to configure other servers or to connect to other virtual machines that you are using. So you see I've opened simply a terminal with which I can log into other machines. In my videos that I used before, I used PuTTY to do this. Okay, let's go back to Xen Orchestra and let's show the other virtual machines already installed on my XCP-ng host. So the Pop! OS workstation is starting automatically when I am starting up my XCP-ng host, because it's not always running all the time, only when I have a need to do so. So here we have the first VM that I ever have installed. It's a virtual machine with Ubuntu Live on it, but only with one service running openssh to connect to. For the rest, everything is default. So this is the machine. What am I going to do? Because it's already configured to do with the Xen server utilities, I'm going to clone this machine. So I'm doing a fast clone. Then I am going back to my virtual machines and the filter, set it to none. And here you can see that the copy of my first virtual machine that I have configured. So we are going to use an Ubuntu server to install our Docker containers on. So let's go to console mode and let's start the server up. Let's change the name. Let's name it Docker server. Okay, still starting up, I think. Let's check. Yeah. Go to general. Okay. Let's wait for a little moment. Let's minimize this so that we can see all the screen. Okay, it's booted up. So let's go now to the general tab where we can see the IP address. So from now on, I'm going to utilize my POP OS workstation with my remote where I have made a remote connection to. So it was 144, so let's SSH into it. It's also with my login Christoph that I put on every system that I'm using to make video tutorials for. So let's type in the IP address. Okay, yes. And then the password. So we are logged in. Before installing the necessary packages to run Docker containers on this virtual machine, I will do first do an update of the system. We have to do it with sudo. Let's clear sudo apt, the package manager, update. We have to enter our password. Oops, it's not the first time that I make a mistake. Okay, and let's upgrade. And let's put the qualifier yes at the end so that we don't have to type yes for each package or for a bundle to update. Here you can see that he has updated openssh. It passed in the list. So that's important. That's one of the packages that we don't have to install. We only have to install 2 packages to make it possible to communicate with Xen server and to make it see in Xen Orchestra the containers that we are running. So one of the packages is not naturally Docker IO that we have to install, and the other one is ncat. Okay, let's clear this and let's install the needed packages. The first one, Docker IO, and the second ncat. And openssh, we don't have to do this. I don't have to do this at the moment. If you didn't install openssh, don't forget to put it also here. It's written like this, openssh server. That's something that you have to add. Minus yes. Okay, let's test if Docker is running. Okay, Docker version, so it's running. Let's enter the command so that we don't have to run Docker as, that we can access it as another user. So usermod, min a capital G, Docker, and $whoami. So that's a variable that's passed through an environment variable, excuse me. How can you see this? For example, if you can do it with cat, dollar, dollar whoami. It will put the value on our screen. Oh, cat, no such file or directory. Let's do echo for a value. I think that's with echo we will have it. Okay, with echo. Cat is something else. We use it for something else. Okay. Let's clear this again. Let's try if we can use Docker as the Christoph user. Okay. So we don't have to sudo again. To use sudo again. Let's clear this again. Now there is something else that we have to install, but on our XCP-ng host to make it able to communicate with our Docker virtual machine. It is so we have to log in, and this one we have to log in as root and add the IP address of our XCP-ng host. In my case, it's 30. There we are logged in. So one of the instructions to enter, if you did a fresh install of the XCP-ng host, this will not be installed. In my case, it's already installed, but he will mention it. So if I do install XS container, here you mention it that it's already installed and that it's the latest version. It's okay, but something very important, you have to do this. Okay, when you have installed this package, you also have to restore the tool stack, and that you can do by tool stack restart. Okay, I'm not going to do this, but that's something that you have to do with a fresh install of XCP-ng. To be able to communicate with our virtual machine, we have one thing to do. I will open a browser here in my Pop!OS workstation. And connect to Xen Orchestra and log in. Don't save. So here we now see that there are two virtual machines running. So if we click on Docker server, this is the UUID of the virtual machine. So we need this number. It's a rather long number, but you can copy it to clipboard from here. So let's copy it. Let's go back to our terminal. And let's now use the instruction XS container that we have installed. XS container, prepare VM -v, and then paste the virtual machine UUID in it. And we are using passing through everything as Christoph, because Christoph can communicate with the virtual machine and the Docker service that's running on it. So let's type enter, answer yes. Here yes again, and the password from Christoph on the virtual machine that runs Docker. Okay, monitoring is enabled, success. Okay, let's clear this again, and let's go back to our web browser. And here is something added now in the tabs. So here you see now container. If you click on this, no existing containers yet detected or running on it. So let's go back to virtual machines. Here, for example, on my Pop! OS workstation, you don't see the tab container here. Okay, so let's go back to my Docker server. You see, I will open the tab container. And now I'm going back to my SSH connection on my Docker server. And I will run docker run, and to be original we will use hello world. Permission denied. Okay, so I will have to add sudo on it. So unable to find image locally. And you pull down. Now if we are going to check on Xen Orchestra, we have now command hello that has been executed and exited. So this is one of the things that we can now see in Xen Orchestra from our Docker server. Something that I also often install on my Docker servers is a portainer. If I'm only running one, that's what I'm most of the time doing. So let's go again to our Docker server. Let's clear this. And let's install portainer. First, we're going to create a volume. So sudo docker volume create portainer underscore data. Okay, volume portainer underscore data is created, and now let's start up our portainer container. Docker run -d -p 8000 and let's do again -p, and this one time 9000 name equal to portainer restart equals to always -v /var/run /docker .sock and enter it again. Let's see if it's correct. Varun docker.sock, varun docker.sock, -v portainer data, the volume to portainer /portainer. Okay, let's execute this. So because it's not present, you will pull the container. So this is done. Let's clear. And let's go back to our browser. and open a new tab, and let's log into, this was the IP of our Docker server, and port 9000, and this will open our container page. Oh, made a mistake in the IP address. I'm not using 1 but 0 for my home lab. Okay. So username admin. Let's create our password. And create the user. Then save, go to local, connect, and we are connected to our Docker server. If we click on this, we will see 2 containers, 2 images, 3 volumes, and 3 networks. If we click on containers, you see Portainer is running, and the hello world that we have executed is stopped. So this is a way to manage your containers more easily on your Docker server. Okay, let's close this and let's go back to our VMs and Docker server. And when we check our container tab, there you will see that now Portainer is running, and that, so it's running because the status is up. And here we can stop this container, restart this container, or pause the container. So you have some options now from Xen Orchestra. So I hope that you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe. If you have a comment on something that you want to know about this, please leave the comment. And if you really like this video tutorial, please leave a thumbs up. And there is always the other one in case you didn't like it. Okay, thank you for watching. See you next time.